I was injured on Good Friday. My wife and my kids were going to be dying Easter eggs in the afternoon. I told them I'd be in about 7. It's just a family thing that we do. So at about 6 o'clock, I decided to go through and check, see if I had any new calves or if I had any cows having any problems. I was walking through, everything looked good. I saw a cow that I had tagged its calf the morning before, and she just gave me this look like she wanted me to stay away. So I just left her alone, walked in the opposite direction, and for some reason I turned around to look, and I saw her running full bore at me. I took off to start running away. Of course, I had a club in my hand, but I don't want to use it if I don't have to. So I started running away. I was going to jump in a bale feeder. I started running away. I slipped, went down my hands, tried to push myself up, and a cow came from behind me and caught me in the hip. I tried getting up again, and she did it again. She kept knocking me down. She finally got me up against the bale feeder and started ramming me. And then within 3-4 seconds, she left. Well, I tried to stand up, I fell down. And I didn't feel any pain. I looked over to see what was wrong, and my leg was on the opposite direction. So I got my leg over against my other one, and I laid it on top of my right leg. I started dragging myself to the bunk line to get out, and here comes the calf, and I look up, and it's the mother I was worried about. And she started flipping me around like a rag doll. And she did this for 4 or 5 seconds, but I was actually airborne. And every time that I hit the ground, I could feel something happening in my hip. And she finally left and walked away. And I looked at my leg. I already knew it was broke. But I looked at my leg. I felt here, and I felt my leg up here, about 4 inches higher. I felt just a big bump. And I started thinking to myself, where's that femur artery? Where is that? I don't want to cut that. I want to bleed out. And I was trying to reposition my leg, because now not only was it off to the side, but it was turned 90 degrees, my foot was. So I took my belt and I took off my sweatshirt and I tied my legs together, pulled myself over to the bunk line. I had to crawl over a 6-foot fence. I crawled over and I dragged myself about 50 yards over to where I could see the house. I was watching for a window, listening for a door, listening for anything, yelling. After yelling for about half an hour, I gave up, because I knew nobody was going to hear me. So I was just listening and watching. At 9 o'clock, I heard my daughters come outside to go in the hot tub. And I heard them talking, and I started yelling. And they were screaming, "Oh, it's a coyote, it's a coyote. Let's get in the house." Well, my oldest daughter said, "Don't wait, listen." And I was yelling, and she heard me, and I said, help me, I'm hurt, you guys, you got to help me." My oldest daughter came down along with my 16-year-old, Caitlin and Shaylee. My 16-year-old ran into the house and tells Mom, you got to call 911, I don't remember how to. The ambulance was there within 10 minutes. They got me to Washburn. They couldn't find a vein, because my body temperature was down 95. They couldn't find a vein, so Metro met them in Washburn. They drilled a hole through my arm into the bone marrow to give me something for pain. And the whole time through the ambulance ride, the guys had to hold my leg in a certain position, because if they moved it any other way, it was just excruciating. But if they held it in the right spot, I was fine. It didn't hurt at all. So next day, I went through 4.5 hours of surgery. The doctor wanted to give me a hip replacement. Found out there wasn't enough bone to do it with. Had to measure my right leg just to get my left leg the same length. I ended up with 6 fractures and 12 fragments, and I'm missing 3 inches of bone on each side of the rod that they put in. They put one rod from my knee to my hip, and then from my hip down to my femur. So now I got 6 months before I'll be able to walk without crutches. I think that everyone knows about farm rescue. It's just that there's people who are reluctant to ask for help. Because that's what my biggest thing was, is that, I knew you guys were there, but I thought, well, I still want to do it myself. Because that's just kind of the way I am. I want to do everything on my own because it's mine. To have to ask for help It's swallowing your pride a little bit, and it's admitting that you can't do something, and none of us want to realize that. And then when you have people volunteering to help you, it's very humbling. I had no idea that so many sponsors were sponsoring farm rescue until I actually stopped to see to read all the writing on the vehicles, and to see all the different, the banks, the this and that and everything else. I was quite surprised. I thought that farm rescue was pretty much independent on donors, but I'm finding out that there's a lot more to you guys, to farm rescue. The equipment that RDO brought with farm rescue was brand new equipment. I mean, it seemed like they were flawless after they got it set. They just went. As a farmer, it makes me feel better about shopping at the places who are supporting you guys. When I see Walmart or Farm Credit Services, then I know that those are businesses who actually care about me. And they're not just about the advertising for the clothes and this and that, but they're actually watching out for me as a farmer, as an individual. The people of North Dakota think of farm rescue as volunteers who come to the aid of people who can't help themselves. They're great guys. I'm not real good with names, but the guys who came into the yard the first day, they were ready to go, ambitious, ready to work, ready to hit her hard. And the guys last night that finished up, they had worked 12 days, and it was their time to go home, and they stopped in the yard before leaving to take pictures with me, and they gave me their numbers and stuff. They want to keep in contact. I basically made friends through farm rescue. If anybody was in my shoes, I would absolutely promote farm rescue to them, because of the difference that you've made in my crop year. Went from being the last guy planted to being one of the first done. Without you guys, I would have been planting probably into July, because I'm not able to do it myself. My dad isn't able to help me, so without farm rescue, you guys did 1,000 acres for me. I'd still be 1,000 acres behind.